I'd like to call the regular meeting for June 17th of the Brunswick County Board of Commissioners to order. And ask that you join me if you'd like in an invocation and a pledge. Father God, we come to you this evening and looking for you for insight and guidance as we move through the agenda this evening, addressing the issues of importance to Brunswick County and its residents, Father. Father, we give thanks for all those that are allowing us to be here this evening, especially those in the public service field, our police, our fire, EMS, that are out there dealing with issues daily, Father, and we just ask that you keep them safe. Father, we are always reminded of those that have fought for our freedom and our right to be here. We say a special blessing for them, Father, for those that are veterans and those that are currently serving, Father, to show our protection for all those that are deserving the right for freedoms, Father. Father, we just ask that you continue to bless, and we ask this in your holy and precious name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay, as I move through the agenda, I want to start off by letting you know that yes, we realize that we are short one commissioner this evening, Commissioner Cook, who is dealing with a medical issue this evening, and we certainly ask for continued prayer for Commissioner Cook as he deals with that situation. Is there any adjustments, or do I hear approval of the agenda?
I'll move for approval of the agenda.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Very good. This is the time that we have set aside for public comment. And I just want to, again, as you probably will see them behind me on the screen, each speaker is allowed for 3 minutes. There is a time clock that will be on the screen behind you as well. You'll be able to keep up and monitor your time. It is your opportunity to provide direction and comments to the commissioners. We are not, and do we have sound?
The people at home say they can't hear.
Yeah. You can hear it?
Okay.
All right. And we just ask, this is not a town hall type session or a Q&A, so you won't have an interaction between the commissioners. If there's something of importance that we feel like that staff needs direction on, we'll certainly do that. If you have any documentation that you want to provide to the commissioners, we would ask that you provide that to the clerk, and she'll make sure that we get it. Having said that, we had a sign-up list that was outside, and I have a person, Nancy Cook. Mayor, you're up first. And if you'll provide us with your street address and town and your name.
Thank you. I'm Nancy Cook. My address is 3972 Business 17E here in Bolivia. I am speaking on behalf of the town of Bolivia. 4 weeks ago, I stood here as the newly appointed mayor of Bolivia. We had a meeting of our aldermen last Tuesday, and then they unanimously agreed to present a resolution of opposition to Senate Bill 675. And I'd like to read that. I have provided this already to you. You should have received it, but for the record, whereas the use of extraterritorial planning and zoning serves to protect the property values of communities by regulating the types of use that can be constructed in areas that transitioning from rural to urban in nature. And whereas it is vital to protect residents of such jurisdictions by regulating the establishment of incompatible uses adjacent to their residential neighborhoods. And whereas the residents of extraterritorial areas of town of Bolivia and Brunswick County are represented on the town's planning board appointed by the Town of Bolivia Board of Aldermen, thereby providing a voice in future development of the extraterritorial areas. And whereas the elimination of extraterritorial areas in the town will result in residents of these areas having no voice in the development of properties immediately adjacent to their residences. Whereas the Brunswick County Board of Commissioners have not consulted with local elected boards of Brunswick County's municipalities to determine the impact of the elimination of these jurisdictions. And whereas guiding principle of North Carolina government is that local elected officials are the elected bodies closest to the people and know best the needs of their communities. And whereas being included in Senate Bill 675 prevents the Town of Bolivia aldermen from having the ability to react to the needs of our community's residents, owners, and taxpayers in future land use and zoning decisions. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town of Bolivia Board of Aldermen that it strongly opposes Brunswick County's request to be included in section 3.3A of Senate Bill 675, and be it further resolved that the Town of Bolivia Board of Aldermen respectfully requests that this request by the Brunswick County Board of Commissioners not be added to Senate Bill 675. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, and that's all that we had signed up for public comment, so we'll move to approval of the consent agenda.
Anybody have anything that needs to come off? I'll move approval then.
All right, I've got a motion for approval
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right. All right, so we got a public hearing. Who's handling the budget ordinance?
You just need to open the hearing for comments.
All right. There's no statement or
No.
what's up? Yeah. All right, so I'll go ahead and open for public comment. The hearing for the fiscal year 2025 budget ordinance, fees and capital improvement plan. Anybody wishing to speak on that, please come forward. Just provide your name, your address, and provide us with any comments.
Chairman Council, I'd like to bring your attention to the
Emails.
emails that you all have
Yep.
received.
We-
They're in the packet, and you have additional printed ones that came in post agenda posting online.
Yes, thank you. And I will say that in addition to that, we have received other emails as well.
Numerous.
All right. I'll offer one more time. Is there anyone to speak for the for the budget ordinance, the fees, or the capital improvement plan? Right, hearing none, I will close the public hearing. And we'll move into the administrative report and recognize administration.
We actually now, you could entertain a motion to approve the budget as previously presented.
Right?
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes, sir.
there is one item in the budget I'd like to have removed for a separate vote. And that is the funding for the foundation at Brunswick Community College. I'd like to do so because I'm the president of that foundation currently. And I really don't think I should be voting. So I'd like to vote on the budget without the foundation funding. And then I'll recuse myself when we move on.
All
Are
right.
you looking to vote on the, do the,
I
do
wanna-
we want to do
I
the
wanna-
foundation
I-
or the other part
It's
first?
not, I just want to remove the foundation for now, and then I'll make a motion
Let's,
if everybody's good with that.
yeah, let's, all right, so I think we got to have the motion and the motion approved, and then we can decide which one we're gonna vote on.
So I
first.
move to remove
Okay.
the foundation of Brunswick Community College from the budget at this time.
All
I'll
right,
second that.
all right. Any discussion?
Well, we didn't allow Marty to be on the Brunswick senior BSRI because he would have done the same thing. To me, it's a conflict. But
I have no authority at the foundation. I've never written a check. I don't even know where they keep the check.
Well, it doesn't matter about that. It's what's your association and ethically you're making.
I run the meetings. That's my role there.
Well, it's not me. It's just that I'm saying we didn't do it before, so.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so it moves forward. I do have one item in here. It's the resolution for the use of the opiate settlement funds is included in this. So whenever we vote for the budget itself, it also includes this resolution. All right, so let's seeing how we've got that Commissioner Forte is recused, let's go ahead and vote on the foundation funding first.
I'll move to approve the foundation budget.
All right,
Second.
and she's Commissioner Sykes seconded, so all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, and then secondly, we'll go ahead and vote on the budget, which includes the schedule of fees, the 5-year capital improvement, and the resolution for the opiate settlement fund.
So
So
we need to specify that it's this updated resolution that's before us.
It is
Yeah.
not that. That one we discussed during the area presentation.
Okay,
okay,
okay, thank you.
all right,
Um,
so
Then I'll move for approval of the fiscal year 2025 budget ordinance, fees, capital improvement plan. Including all appendages to it.
Second,
in a second, is there any discussion?
I just want to say before I vote, that I don't agree with everything that's in the budget this year. However, I do believe that it's a good conservative budget. And there are some things that will have to come back before the Board of Commissioners, and I probably will vote against it then. So, at this time, I don't have an issue, with the budget, especially since our taxes are not being increased.
Yeah, I think that, I think this time, I think our administration has done a good job in making the process to get us to where we're at today. And the additional changes, I know that we did have staff members coming forward to ask for additional funding. And I also know that there were a number of departments that had to reduce their request greatly for us to be able to meet a balanced budget with no tax increase. So I think that says a lot about administration's work to get us to where we're at today. So, all right, so all in favor of the budget, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now,
I'd just like to echo your comments and say thank you to our staff. I mean, y'all started this back in November, I believe, and there's been a lot of work done to get to this point, a lot of back and forth. So thank you to the staff for your diligence in working and identifying what needs to be in and what doesn't need to be in to keep our tax rate the same.
I concur.
Yeah.
And Aaron Smith, you're a rock star.
yeah.
He had hair at the beginning of the budget process. You've
All
done
right.
a great job. Thank you.
Okay, so next item up is the sheriff's office and the ARROW program approval.
Before they walk up, I do want to, that's a printed copy of the, area ordinance and resolution that I put in front of you. Finance had a meeting with, those staff, which is really selling that. Something clean, I can't remember what they stands for, but, it was the EDACC, they provide a lot of guidance and help for us, on the correct way to utilize these funds. And we shared with them not only the ARROW ordinance and resolution, but also the ones that we were bringing to you for approval as part of the annual budget ordinance today.
Cool.
And they provided a little bit of tweaks to the ARROW program, not substantive to what the program is, not dollar amounts, just how it's presented in the resolution. So that way, whenever we upload it to the statewide portal, it's clear what we're trying to do. And make sure that it meets what the funds are trying to do.
Okay, and I think the resolution speaks for itself. Everyone has a copy of it. Or is there any additional, and I know that y'all did your presentation, matter of fact, I still have my copy of it. Are there any further questions for the sheriff's office?
Yeah, I think so. I was just given this, so I haven't seen any of this. I was just given it, so, haven't had a chance to read it. But I did call the association upon, request. Chairman Thompson was at the association meeting this week, and the Justice Department had, a committee that discussed how to spend the opioid settlement. I did not get to attend due to I was over at the legislature. However, I did call the presenter who presented the presentation. And there were several things that she was mentioned to me. She said that she didn't support any certain program because each county was unique. And it would have to come up with the program that was best for the citizens in this county. She did state that Greenville, Burke, and Robinson counties had a great program, and that she's recommended that we call them to see what they were doing and how it worked. It doesn't mean we have to use our program, but she felt like that since we haven't gotten started, we need to make sure we get it on the right track. She also stated during that time that anytime you're going into contracts and trying to get set up a program, that you should talk to your healthcare provider. And I think ours is WellPath. So what kind, have we talked to WellPath at all? What are they going to be doing in this process?
So WellPath is not incorporated into this. We have used Coastal Horizons, but they have talked with us and they support what we're going to be doing in the detention center.
So our contract though with WellPath plainly says that they review inmates and analyze their mental health when they come into the jail. So is this is going to be duplication?
No, this is going to be a little bit different because this is going to specifically focus on substance use issues, whereas the mental health provider does very quick screenings for mental health. No one right now is receiving any sort of substance use services in the detention center at all right now.
Well, I understand that because we haven't set it up. MAT is what it used to be called, and now it's MOUD. So I know that we're not administering any medications.
Right.
So WellPath could not administer or they don't have personnel to administer.
They can administer MAT, but at this time, the sheriff's office is not pursuing MAT. So MAT is not in the Arrow program. No one will be receiving any sort of maintenance at this time.
And so the program that y'all are still submitting is for 90 days, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, who in the jail has stayed 90 days that is using drugs?
Well, there's a lot of individuals that can't bond out because their charges, the bond is too high. There's a lot of individuals that I see on a day-to-day basis that have been there over 90 days pending their charges.
So you don't have any data. There's no data. You have no data to provide me.
I don't have that data right now. I
Because-
have the data that I have today is actually used for speaking about the Greenville program. That's the Sharp and Wares program in Pitt County, and that's the data that I have today. You requested that last meeting on the 3rd, and that's what I have here.
Yeah,
today.
I have their stuff.
Okay.
But however, the 90 days is figured with everybody that's in the jail. That includes the federal prisoners, your ICE, the ones in there for ICE, your state confinements, your juveniles. Not all of them are in there. They've been sentenced for years. They're not like the ones that we get off the street that is using drugs and we bring them in. Most of them will be gone in less than 90 days. So I can't see the 90 days. there's still a lot of issues I have here. So I still cannot support it because one of the other things that she put in her presentation from the association was, we do need to spend money to save lives. I agree with that. But using evidence and data to guide the spending is important. We also need to make sure we're understanding what our community needs. And I just don't think the ARA program is where we need to go. There was one other thing I was gonna mention. Who's gonna be the coordinator of the program?
Myself. And
And what is your certification?
I have an LCSW, which is a licensed clinical social worker degree.
Wait just a minute, wait a minute. I need to write that down. You said you had what?
My LCSW,
LCSW.
licensed clinical social worker. And I also have my LCAS-A, which is a licensed certified addiction specialist associate.
Okay.
As Ms. Sykes, shared with you, I am the, chair of the Justice and Public Safety Steering Committee, for, North Carolina Associations of Counties. We did have a meeting last Tuesday, and we did have, a panel of folks that came in and spoke about, the challenges and opportunities in county jails to improve health. Yeah, we had the association, as you heard from our finance director earlier, had insight from the NCACC law enforcement program manager, as well as the NCACC director of strategic health and opiate initiatives, which we directly relate with. In addition to the panelists, they had the North Carolina State Opiate Treatment Authority Coordinator. And then we had a Dr. Askin, who is a physician with UNC that deals with the NC Fit, if you know which group that is. To be quite honest with you, when the meeting concluded, I was without a doubt convinced that Brunswick County needs to do something and needs to do something immediately. There is no doubt that, and many of these speakers, one of which the law enforcement program manager, I mean, she oversaw a detention facility. And I think we're very fortunate to have her in our association to be able to provide her expertise as to what direction we need to go. But they made it very clear that, yes, all counties are different. There's no doubt about that. But the need for doing something and addressing the issue, it's not only the individual that's being impacted, it's the staff that has to work with these individuals every day, our detention staff. And Lord knows, of all the victims in Brunswick County for choosable employment, that is probably one of the toughest to commit to wake up every day and look forward to going to work, I would think. And so anything that we can do to support our county staff, we need to, but we're getting a double out of this, because we're actually, not only are we doing something that's going to support county staff, but we're doing something that's going to support our weakest citizens who have an addiction. And so, and then they find themselves incarcerated in a mental health situation. So I think that this moving forward with some type of program is beneficial. I think the sheriff has to have an opportunity to have an initiative. And if he has reviewed this and then he has gone over this with administration and with finance and everyone's in agreement to allow him the opportunity to move forward to be able to capture stats and to be able to provide treatment to those that are in need, then certainly we should not stand in the way of that. So I'll just say that in my thoughts and just sharing about the information provided. I wish all of our staff, all of our county commissioners could have been there for that. I understand that each and every one of them, believe it or not, had other duties that were demanding that they were representing the county in other areas and other capacities, dealing with issues happening right here in Brunswick County on that particular Tuesday, while this particular session was going on, but or they would have been.
Yeah.
So that's my
First one
thoughts.
I've ever missed.
Yeah, I just
I have a few comments. I would have been at that, but I was actually down at the legislature at a PFAS committee meeting, listening to Representative Eiler and Davis's bill. But I remember a few years ago when Brunswick County proposed the Brunswick Guarantee for Brunswick Community College. There was nothing else like it in the state. And we didn't have anybody else to call to get their data because no one else was doing it. And now they're calling us to get our data. And that's what I want to see with this program. I think there's clearly a need for this. I remember I asked the sheriff at the last meeting, how many of these people keep coming back to the jail over and over, and it's more than we would want. And I know people that are good people that have gotten caught up in substance abuse issues. Many of them go have surgery and then get hooked on the painkillers. And the next thing you know, they're in jail because they were stealing something to buy the money or to buy the drugs, to get the money to buy the drugs. And one person I talked to, and this was actually someone with a healthcare background, said, we've literally got a captive audience. Why don't we put that time to good use? And maybe we can help them break this addiction where they don't have to come back to this jail and they can go out and contribute to the economy instead of being a drain on it.
Absolutely.
And I guess, I support this, and my challenge is for y'all to create a model of this whole state wants to copy in 2 years.
all right. Any other comments?
Yeah,
As-
I do, but I'm a hippie.
As someone who has gone through a recovery program, I am what's called ACOA. I am the adult child of alcoholics. I lost a nephew 5 years ago to a heroin overdose. And he was 40, it was the day after his 40th birthday. And he had spent 21 of those 40 years in jail. There was no program in jail for him. And he was about as good a kid as you ever want to meet, but he just couldn't get that devil off of his back. It hasn't been in your family, God bless you. But I can tell you, most families have it someplace. There's someone in your family line that has an addiction problem. And if you watched it, I can tell you, it's not pretty. It's frustrating. And I will do anything in my power to stop it. You'll never completely stop it. But I made the motion at the last meeting to try to approve this. I'd like to make a motion now, but Pat, you have something else you want to say, so go ahead.
Yeah, I did speak to whom Chairman Thompson was talking about. She's a major and she has a lot of good information, and that was great talking with her because I agree with her. We need something in the jail. However, as a person, I'm against administering the same drug that they're on in society in the jail. But the main thing that helps them in the jail is it keeps them calm and makes sure jail more functioning to be able to handle the ones that need help.
Can I say something quickly?
Yeah.
So we're actually not administering any sort of maintenance through the ARROW program at this time.
But you'll have to amend, that's what you said you were gonna use Coastal Horizon for, right?
No, for treatment.
For treatment. They're contracted to provide treatment as an
And
individual.
so what is their treatment?
Individual counseling. And
And
that's
that's it.
counseling. Yeah, we're not providing any sort of maintenance right now.
No, no meds.
No
No,
maintenance.
ma'am.
Okay, so y'all have heard about the ADA?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've been working closely with the county administration to figure out the best course of action, because there are different opinions out there about different types of medications and treatment options. So we've been working very closely with David Stanley and with Steve and Aaron to make sure that if we go that route, which is an if, that we are following the best guidance that we can from the state and from those folks who obviously are much more educated and prepared for that type of program, but we are not doing that at this time. This is a treatment program of counseling and different types of counseling depending on the person's needs after they've been gone through a full assessment with our clinician here in-house.
Okay, there was one other thing, it would be nice if we had, a task force, maybe of 2 people that would focus on, catching the ones that are selling the drugs when a person ODs. And if that person dies, that person that sold them that drug, they should be investigating them and put them in jail, just like we just had one that was put in jail for 15 years for, giving, to, 15 years after the woman's fatal overdose.
Mhm.
So we need something like that to stop it, because if you go to the dealer, I think that's where it needs to be hit.
Yes, ma'am. I know our officers are always following up on those leads, any of the overdose calls that come in. I know there is someone who responds from our agency to help the families, but also to look into the investigation side of that situation.
Sheriff, we see that you came forward. Are you looking to add
Every time we have an overdose, our detectives and narcotics work together as a team to try to get the information that we need to meet the elements of death by distribution. Fortunately for us, it did change. They made it a little bit easier because they took out some parts that were kind of holding us back. But now with the new charge, so we have a team, any overdose is investigated and we do everything we can to try to get to that. Now, there's a lot of things that are out of our control that take a lot of time. Toxicity reports from the ME or the medical examiner and things like that. So we work every one of those cases and we definitely pay attention to those. And that's definitely something that it's kind of in conjunction with all this.
Sure.
The whole umbrella of addiction and overdoses. And we are definitely working as hard as we can to see that those guys spend time in jail.
All right. Anybody want to entertain a motion?
I will approve the implementation of the ARROW program at the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office Detention Center, utilizing opioid settlement funds. So this isn't costing taxpayers anything.
You're making a motion
So that's my,
for the amended resolution that was distributed, correct?
correct.
I'll second that.
All right. So any further discussion?
Yeah. How much money will we be spending each year because on all these programs that we have, because we don't need to go over a 1-year limit, because we'll run out of funds if we go over a certain amount each year.
So I'm keeping track of what, we've been approved for, what funding was been approved for. Right now, there's been 3 settlements, I believe, or 3 large sections of settlements we've been aware of. A wave 1, a wave 2, and then, a one-off, much smaller one with 150. We have annualized that, over an assumed 18 years, which was, kind of what we're assuming that, the life of these revenues. It is front loaded, with a lot of revenue being received in the front years, but we're trying to not just budget all that, because then we'll be in trouble in the later years. So right now with the programs, it's looking like we're gonna see around $26 million. In interest, it's to do this program, so all the cash that comes in, we recognize interest and it's put right back into the fund. And with the programs that we're looking at right now, with DSS, the DSS clinician, the healing place, the health educator, community paramedicine, CRCI, and now the ARROW program, it's looking like we're gonna have about 2.5 million left over. We have been in discussions, with, David, myself, David Howard, and Kathy, DSS, David Howard with help, and Steve about, we've got a couple of other smaller programs that we're looking, such as, the locks on, distribution, on plus an funds program for our substance abuse, committee. And with all that, it looks like we'll probably be pretty close to utilizing all of our funds. I have put in a factor, and conservative investment earnings. With those that we're getting close to using up most earnings
Okay.
by the end of the 18 years.
But
And we
18
have in every program that, has requested use for these funds, we've encouraged them to, that if they're looking for expansion opportunities, it might have to come from a different place, or that any opportunities they might want to find with alternative grant funding.
Yep.
Opioid funds can be used as a match for, other grant opportunities, unlike most other grants. Yeah. These funds were, but right now, that's what.
It's a lot. Commissioner Williams.
It's one more comment, and it didn't even occur to me to mention this until now, but our State Association of County Commissioners president, Johnny Carswell, every president has their presidential initiative, and his is called One More Thing, and it's collaborating to reduce overdose. And his entire presidential initiative is focused on empowering counties to invest opioid settlement dollars for the greatest impact. And I think that's important because this fits right into his state presidential initiative. And he chose that initiative because he lost a son to an overdose. And him and his wife in their early 60s, mid 60s, suddenly were raising a granddaughter. So they were parents again when they didn't expect to be. And he spoke here in Brunswick County back in February. And if you ever hear him speak, you will need a tissue when he finishes. I promise you. But he's very passionate about it. And the title of it, One More Thing, came because his wife said we could have just done one more thing. One more thing. So we're doing one more thing.
All right, so let's call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Ms. Ford. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is utilities. That is Southport Water and Wastewater System Merger Agreement. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, fellow board members. I'm here tonight with a request to approve the conveyance of the city of Southport's water and wastewater system, authorizing you, the chairman, to sign that. And I was just reminded by Mr. Nichols, this has been going on since 2008, when we began negotiations with the city of Southport. There has been a lot of diligent work done between our governing bodies, our administrative staff, our manager, former managers, former finance directors. It has been going on for quite a while. But I'll say that at the request of Southport back in 2021, we approved a resolution to assist the city in submitting a merger and grants feasibility program and evaluate a potential merger of the two utilities into the county utility. And the city did receive the grant and move forward with that. And it was the study that was performed, I think it was by the Wooten Corporation, indicated that Southport's water and wastewater systems merger with the Brunswick County utility system was feasible. And the great thing about that is they then moved to proceed with that in February. And as I said, the great thing about it is now the citizens of Southport will be paying the same rates as the citizens of Brunswick County. That's a win-win for the citizens there. Kind of on a parallel path during that time, the city had applied for a number of grants and loans, which they received, and it was about $22.5 million worth. And additionally, the county was allocated $35 million from the legislature to help with this merger. A number of those funds were being used to fulfill these projects, which are 5 projects: pump station rehab, a sewer replacement project, a find it, fix it program, and a lead service line inventory. what we determined in working with the city's consultant and the city staff is that they would go through the bidding process. Once the bidding process was complete, the county would take over the construction elements of each of those projects. And additionally, 3 Southport employees would be offered employment with the county. And we would also need to request, and it was in the budget tonight, the 6 additional staff for the county for taking over a larger system. We have a project manager, some water quality technicians, a locator, an INC technician, and 1 new collection mechanic. And I want to point out that about $608,000 worth of one-time costs for improvements within the implementation costs, like a jetter that was needed, vehicles, computers, some odor control units that needed to be put in place in Southport. And we estimate right now that we'll have a recurring cost of about $1.58 million going forward within our larger county utility budget for the operation of that system, both water and wastewater. And as I said, we don't know the cost yet of the lead and copper service replacement program. The city is doing the investigation now. We'll pick that up after the merger if it is approved tonight. Any questions you may have?
All right,
I have a couple.
all right, let's start down on that end and work this way.
Okay. Just one. When would this become effective? If
July.
we agree it now on it now.
July 1,
Oh, God.
30th.
excuse me, 30th. June 30th. I apologize.
Wow, that's fast. Okay.
That was one of my questions. Related question, when will people start calling the county instead of calling Southport for utility questions? And I asked that because I actually got a call and got asked that question today from a Southport resident.
They're already, they already.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have answered
Okay.
that question with the city of Southport. It would be July 1st. We would take over.
okay, good.
I would say another answer to that is, we were invited to the Southport 4th of July committee, meeting. And, we attended that with our sheriff's department and, they've been so gracious as to tell us how to get in the city during the 4th of July parade and other things. So
I will add that Megan, work with finance team, with utilities and Southport's, communications department. And tomorrow, I believe we should have some communication going out,
Excellent.
online, and hopefully some stuff will be going in customer bills. And, you know, as part of just regular customer service, we kind of work through the Southport, you know, when it's appropriate. For them. Later, you know, whether they go south, whether they come to us, but yeah.
Cool.
I support this. I'll defer to the district commissioner for the motion. If you want to make it.
I will make the motion, but I do want to say how much I appreciate all the hard work because this has been going on before I became county commissioner. And we have pushed and really worked hard to get where we're at today. So I'm really, really thrilled to be able to make the motion that we approve this merger.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, we
How many
discussed.
customers are we getting?
around 28,000 water and 29,000 sewer.
Well, thank you.
That's how.
I said 28,000, 2,800.
I was gonna say,
I
we're gonna get a
apologize.
push on. Wow.
Yeah.
2,800.
And I just want to thank the leadership of Southport. I think, I mean, this is, I'm in almost 10 years into this now, and this is certainly with the different leadership that Southport's been through. It's been a big discussion, and so Major Alt and Mayor Alt and the alderman down there, I think they've done a tremendous job for the citizens of Southport by looking at addressing this issue and partnering with the county. So I think it's a tremendous win for everybody.
I would say, Commissioner Thompson, that has been all the way down to the staff level. They've been very, very transparent and forthright with us in our meetings. We've had multiple meetings with them. And I feel they've been very transparent and forthright with us also.
Very good. All right, so we've got a motion on the floor. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Don.
All
Mr.
right,
Chairman, I had the Southport manager sent me a text and they have approved the agreement this evening also.
very good. Very good. All right, so we'll move into board appointments, and the first one is dealing with District One, and it's Whitney Sarles for the TDA appointment. And so first off, I would nominate Whitney to serve in District One,
I'll second.
and I got a second on that. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Also, apparently due to their bylaws, we have to select their chairman. It's my understanding that Whitney Sarles wants to step forward to serve as the chairperson of this, of the TDA. And so that would be my recommendation that we grant that to Ms. Sarles. And so I'll make a motion.
So,
I'll second.
second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Then we have District Two, Bonnie Cox is stepping down. And from the TDA, request to step down, and I'm looking for, I think there was a name that
There are
we,
two, yes, two, one who is Tiffany Wilson for the
okay,
TBA appointment.
okay, so we got Tiffany Wilson for TDA.
That's who Commissioner Cook recommended, is that correct? Okay, I'll make the motion to appoint Tiffany Wilson then.
I'll second.
And a second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
And then for the fire protection oversight,
That would be Mr. Hewitt, and that is also his recommendation.
Yeah, Mark, you.
all right,
I'll move to appoint Mark Hewitt.
I'll second it.
all right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
And I believe we've got one more.
He's got one more for the equalization and review, and that's Mr. Jim Hardy.
I do not have an application at this point, just.
Oh, really? Well, then we can't move
So,
forward.
yeah. we need-
Yeah, we'll have to put that one off to the
It's
next.
Conversation with him, but I'm not receiving.
Okay.
Okay, so we
Okay.
haven't received the application yet, so we'll move that one to the next meeting then. If you would, make sure that, I'm sure he's listening now, but make sure Commissioner Cook is aware.
I'll probably get a text in a second.
Just one.
And,
I've got
all right.
7.
Is there, any other business or informal discussion coming from the board at this time? Hearing none, then we, go into a closed session.
Yes, sir. If I get a motion to enter into closed session, so at 143, 318, 1181, 3 and 4.
There we
To
go.
approve the closed session minutes, and so with the attorney and for economic development purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Very
Aye.
good. We'll be in closed session. The meeting back to order and look to our county attorney for,
Yes, sir. If I can get a motion to opt in to the National Grover Sale.
So moved.
got a motion and a second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Very good.
I believe we also had a GSATs resolution
Okay, so
and staff, I guess, I don't have those in front of me, but I know there were several options of it.
Where is that?
Can we put it on screen, y'all? Of course, the people that would put it on screen weren't.
Okay, option 1 is the well, first of all, GSAT has adopted a plan of 2 different areas in the county to add to their transportation area. One is called A, and one is called B. Option 1 is a request from the Board of Commissioners to not engage any option at this time until such time as the Board of Commissioners has an opportunity to weigh in.
I'll move approval of option one.
Yeah, I'll second.
okay, motion and a second, any discussion? And so as I understand it, then we will have the opportunity, we're asking for the opportunity to weigh in.
Yeah.
On that. Okay. All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right. All right, is there any other business to come before the board?
Just a reminder, we have NCACC legislative goals that we could submit at some point between now and I think September, and I think everybody has a copy of that timeline, so just be thinking, I guess if we have anything, get them to staff.
All right, and that's good, and I think we need to make sure that everyone knows that our next meeting is July the 8th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Check calendar, make sure that's on there.
I have to make sure someone sent me a calendar invite for that one.
I just hope not a ball game.
Got it on my
So,
calendar.
I've got it on, I've got that.
July
Lowercase
the
Clearwater and
8th at 2 p.m. All right, is there any other business?
Make a motion we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Very good, guys. Thank y'all.